What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a great day and a great week. All right, guys, we're going to go back to the moon, and we're going back to Apollo 10 photo. And it's AS10-32-4800. Wait until you see this piece of trash for a photo, right? Let's just check this out real quick. This is actually pretty comical. When I saw this photo here, I was like, seriously, guys, what's going on? We all know, both you and I, both know that I've seen photos of, or I should say from the LRO, right? And they're pristine, crystal clear. They look absolutely awesome. And then you see this piece of garbage. Why? It makes no sense. I look at that and I go, you can clearly see they brought the exposure way up on this thing. And all of this down in the bottom, absolutely hiding things left and right. I mean, and when you start to break this photo down, man. Now, you guys know that we can find a ton of these anomalies in these photos. This one's no different to a certain degree. A lot of this you cannot drag out, and I'm going to show you the reason why in a minute. But there is some things, sometimes you get that one object that stands out amongst everything. And this is one of those photos. All right, let's get into it. You can actually go here. You can just click on right here. This is where you'll find it, right here. AS10-32-4800. And you guys will get the link to this as always. And just click on it, and that's what you get. And you can go right here to the lower right of the photo, and you can see it right there. It says download original image. Okay, so that's what I've done, and we threw it into Photoshop. Okay, again, look at this piece of trash. Are they kidding me right now? Look at this. Let's just go into this. What is going on here? Guys, I said this before. If you bring up any exposure in a photo to a point where you see this kind of stuff going on, and not to mention this, maybe they have a way to spot exposure, like bring up the exposure big time, right? And if anybody uses Photoshop, you know what I mean. You can literally take a spot, an area that you want, and either circle it or do whatever you want, and then you can just enhance that one area. And I have done this in this photo, and I'll show you that in a minute. So it's, they can literally just spot blur it, bring up the exposure in spotty areas, so on and so forth. But if you bring the whole photo up, what does it do? It takes out any kind of shadowing, darker areas, darker anything, so therefore giving you this white blur of whatever trash, right? When you zoom into things like this, look at this. 1, 2, you can see these things going across, right? And 1, 2, you guys are going to see a whole bunch of this in a second. There's something that's right here, and in this so-called crater here, there's something that's been completely blurred out, but you can see something right there. It's perfectly round almost. And when you look right here, there's another anomaly right here. A couple of them, actually. You can see what looks like something's got two, rings type thing. Something shiny that's doing this. And then you get something square on top of that, and doing that here. Looks like a black circle or something like that. You guys will see this much better. All right, so let me just jump out of this. And like I said, I'm going to show you what I can of these anomalies here. Not so much, but it's almost like they said, listen, this is the closest to the camera. This is what we need to do. We need to white out anything of any value, okay? On the back, though, they had forgotten. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Do you guys see anything in this area right here? I'm going to go ahead and circle it. Anything at all. Don't forget to use your magnifiers as well as eyepieces. The magnifier right now would be the best one to use for this whole area. But when I saw this, I was blown away. What I did notice was this object right here, guys. Have you seen this? This is one of those things that are completely blatant. Now, let me highlight it and show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I mean by you can take a certain area and enhance it or, colorize it, do whatever you want, spot blur it, you can do whatever you want, right? And this is what it looks like. Sitting on the surface of this moon, this is what we've got. Check this thing out. What is that? This wild-looking anomaly. See this? Check this thing out, guys. This thing is absolutely awesome. Okay? And what is, you got this long body that goes all the way down. Okay? And then you've got all of this crap here. So I don't know. It almost looks like the moon has growth, right? Some kind of trees or shrubs or whatever the hell it may be. Or it's something that's been blocked out of here as well. Because when you look at this, it has something right here, almost rounded, and has something right in the middle. And you can see this white coming through this area right here. See that? It's almost like they try to just black it out so it can blend, right? Again, this is what we're seeing in the photo to begin with. And when you back way out, and guys, you can use a magnifier right now. This thing is awesome. And you can see that thing is plain as day now. When you see it the first time, it's like you can't unsee it. Back here, there's some anomalies kind of dilapidated sitting right there. Now, let me show you this a little bit better. Let's go ahead and get into this photo. Check this out. And again, I showed you this. Now I'm going to bring it to the full enhancement, which I did on the whole photo. Okay, check this out. Look at the anomalies that are in here. Not just this item here. Not just this anomaly here. And anomalies, I should say, because there's something right here on the base of it, too. There. All of these anomalies in the back. Use your magnifiers right now, guys. In fact, I'm going to just back out just a hair bit more and have a look. The stuff is everywhere. They use this blackness right here. Well, it wasn't black then, but check this out. It's like they just kind of scribble over or put this texture over these items, and they're right there in front of our face. But because they're so hidden, you can't really see it. Check that out. Again, like I said, every now and then you get a photo that has maybe one, maybe two things you can drag out of this. And guess what? This happens to be the one that's like, boom, money shot. Check this out. Let's zoom in here a little bit more. I'm not going to go in too badly because it really will break up. You know what I mean? What happens is you end up doing this. People say, well, why don't you zoom? Well, I can do that. Let me do that. Okay, how does that look to you guys? Look all right? And again, I mean, I've I know it looks ridiculous. But the thing is, I brought this up to 351, which usually you hit 500. This is what happens. You immediately get a grid after 500. Now, don't get me wrong. Most photos don't look this zoomed in to begin with. But this is the reason why I try not to do that. All right? And I know a lot of you guys are on the phones and tablets, and this is the reason why you want me to zoom. And this is the reason why I try to tell you guys, if you have a PC, you're better off viewing it on there. Or some people have very large TV sets. Like I got a 65-inch in the living room, and I can put it on that, and boom. I mean, it's right there in your face. You can just see this. Just by looking around on the screen, you can see this stuff, right? Don't even have to use a magnifier. You've got small items like this. And it may not be that small. It may be quite large. Which reminds me, guys, if we were to zoom back out, because a lot of times we see these things and goes, man, these things must be absolutely huge. Not necessarily. Keep in mind, we have, if I just do this, go back to the original, these guys could be no more than 2 miles off the surface. Okay? 1.5 miles. We don't know. And the reason why we don't know, and it's hard to determine, is because a lot of these craters could be anywhere 20 feet wide, 100 feet wide, could be a mile wide. We don't know. So how do we know the actual size of that object that's sitting in the upper left? Well, we don't. But we can still determine that it is, in fact, intelligently made. At least in my book it is. So, to me, when I see this, these things, these craters over here, right here, this one over here, this could only be 10 feet across. It could be 100 feet across. We don't know that. So it's hard to determine how big these objects are, but you can tell just by looking at this photo, these guys are not that far off the surface. I'll be willing to bet it's not more than a couple miles, 3 to 5 miles tops off the lunar surface. So, when you see something like this, it would still be quite large in the upper left, right? We can see that. So if you're about, 3.5 miles, maybe 3 miles off the surface, and you're seeing that thing from there, it would be quite large, okay? Now let's zoom back into this, okay? Look at the objects, like I said, here, okay? And I'm going to zoom in for the people who do, in fact, have the smaller devices. See how they got this right here? This, to me, right here. All this darker texture right there. This is something that they throw on top of an object they don't want you to see. It's plain as day. You can see this. And if you've been researching this for quite some time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's absolutely one of the techniques that they use to hide this stuff, right? All right, let's back out. Again, I said crater here, and no doubt it is a crater. And then you get this crap right here. This is absolute crap, okay? And the reason why I say that is because when you look at this, you can see this has been fudged. This area here has been fudged. And you can just see the texture of it compared to the rest of it. You might say, how the heck can you see that? Because it's so darn white. But just look at the difference in it. Look right here. I'm actually going to outline it like almost perfectly. Look at this. I can see that defined. Okay, so now when you fully enhance it, this is what you see. You can see things that are sticking out right here. These objects right here. You can see things that are sticking out. You can see things that are right there in the photo. Again, we've got that little piece right there. And guys, if we were to go down to the lower part, you can see how this gets all like that weird like spottiness on these bright areas, because they're so bright that when you try to bring them down, they just literally turn to crap. And that's what's sad. But that doesn't mean there's not enough to see in this photo. Look at the little pieces down in here. Little spotty areas, you can see pieces laying on it. But you can see where they literally tried to, when they were putting that darker stuff all over this, they went into it, but they didn't quite cover the whole thing up. You get over here, and you can see there was something right here. You can see, if I go like this, I'm going to go ahead and circle this and then bring it in and zoom it in for you guys. You can see something was there. Another rectangular piece. And because they turned the exposure way up on this, it's really difficult to see, right? And you can't. It literally has taken everything out that you want to really see. But why is this one particular area that bright? Because it's the closest to the camera, and they don't want you to see that. That's, in a nutshell, that's what it comes out to. Now, things way back in the background, they haven't really taken out, although they have manipulated the hell out of it. Now, here's this area right here I was telling you about earlier. And you can see that I'm going to all this whited area here. You can see it's going like this. Sometimes you only see spots of it. See it right there, here. You can see two things coming down. I can see that right here perfectly. All just little spots. And take notice of this thing I was just telling you about earlier, with these two round pieces on the top, and whatever this is on the side of it. See that? There's something up on top of this so-called crater, too. Funny thing about it is, and I've always said this, it's almost like some of these craters are absolutely fake. And what I mean by that is when you look at this crater here, okay, why does this look like it's directly underneath it? Okay, wait a minute. This thing would actually have to be off the ground. Look closely. There is an actual shadow. Okay, you see that? Right there. It's going like that. Now, if you really look at this thing here, it doesn't even look like a crater in a sense, because it goes straight, got a nice straight piece right here, goes like this, and appears to do this. You can see a little bit of white right here, and a little bit of other pieces here and there. You can see the white. So, is it far-fetched to believe this is much more than a crater than what they're saying? A very good possibility. And if you look right here, you can see some kind of detail in here, going like this. And of course, this is the edge of the shadow as well. See that? Whatever the hell this stuff is, it's on the surface. And guys, when I show you the next video I have of the moon, it's going to blow your mind, because guess what? There's stuff laying all over the surface of this. And you know what, guys? I'm starting to think there's a reason why they won't tell the public. Because when you see this stuff up close, you're just going, oh my God, the moon is actually a scary place when you really start to look at this stuff. See that? Pretty crazy stuff here as far as I'm concerned. And guys, listen, like I said, let me just back up just a little bit. I can see that right now. Use your magnifier. Look at it. It's right there. It was in the photo all along. This is the stock photo. All I'm doing is putting all the dark areas back where they belong. It's in the photo, but because the exposure's been brought up so much. Now, what happens if you bring the exposure back down? What happens? You start to bring it all back down, and then you can enhance this stuff and really get it to pop. And that's what you end up with. It's not any different. It's right there on the surface. But as usual, guys, you tell me what you think. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this. Pause it any way you like. Have a look at it with your magnifier. I'm going to move it up here a little bit so you guys can see the rest of this. Tell me what you think. Let me jump on out of here, guys. Guys, tell me what you think is going on here. I see giant craft or structures of something. I'm not sure what it is. Really, it's on the surface of the moon, right? Anyway, guys, drop your comments and your thoughts below. Let me know what you think. And as usual, like and please share the video. Always appreciate you guys know that. You know, I don't think people are aware of what's going on. And like I said, my next video, wait till you see that. Again, not a whole lot of anomalies, but they're there. There's enough to see to go, whoa, wait a minute. I can see them manipulating these things, and I can see that this thing's just laying on their side. This thing's half buried. When I say half buried, I think it's because they draw over half of it and don't take the rest of it out. Why? Because they bring up the exposure again so much that they're hoping you're just going to look at it and go, oh, well, then next, and move right along and not enhance. They weren't planning on people having computers today in this day and age, meaning, what, 30, 40, 50 years ago. They weren't thinking of this, that everybody's going to have one in their living room or bedroom or whatever it may be, that they're going to stop pulling these photos apart. They just thought people were just going to go like this. Maybe it's in a book. They just got a bunch of photos in a book, and people are just going to just zip right through them. Anyway, guys, like I said, comment down below. Let me know what you're seeing here. Are you guys seeing a lot more with your magnifiers? Because I know a lot of you guys are all over this stuff now, so let me know what you find. And just keep an eye out for the next moon video coming up as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Always appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.